Welcome back. In our last segment, you learned how to have DuctQuote calculate or size your system in the automatic mode. Now that's based on the target velocity and the volume that's related to the duct diameter of the vertical drops. Now the other mode of calculating or sizing is manual, and it's based on the connection or port sizes of equipment you connect to your system. Let's build a system with some equipment to look at this. Now, we're going to go into the project that we created, and we're going to create a new layout. And we'll call this one Layout 2. And we're going to make this one 40 by 40. All right. Now we need to go up to our settings, make sure that we have things set appropriately here. Make sure that we have our defaults set as we would like them in our Design tab. And select the appropriate material as well as an initial diameter. All right. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to place 3 pieces of equipment here. So I'm going to click on Equipment, and we'll just use the generic machines here. Click OK. And I'm going to place one in each corner, and then we'll go from there. So I'm going to place one up in this area, another one here, and another one here. But what I would like to show you is that we can also use the cloning function, which we've seen before. So once we come in and identify which piece of equipment that we're going to be working on, let's take a look at what we can control about this piece of equipment. Let's spin this around so that we're a little closer. Well, first we have the mounting. And as you can see, that we can even have this as standing, which means it automatically will move itself to stand on the floor, or hanging, which means it'll place wherever we put it. We're going to leave ours on the floor. Then you have the position. And as I move this, you'll notice when I'm moving on the red number moves. When I'm moving on the blue number moves. And the same with the vertical piece. But of course, this one will stay on the floor. We also can control its size. So if I need something that's going to be slightly larger, let's say 50 inches by 50 inches, and perhaps even shorter, instead of 60 inches, it's 48 inches tall, we can change that size simply. We can also change its shape. It can be a vertical cylinder or a horizontal cylinder. Horizontal cylinders are often used to represent fans. We can even change its color. People like a particular color, or we could even control its opacity. So if there's a mark on the drawing underneath that we need to be able to read, we can control that as well. And lastly, we can label it. We'll call this one Machine 1. Now, we can also add connections. Okay? So we're going to add a connection. I'm not going to bother naming the connection itself, but I am going to say that it's a round connection because we're going to be drawing with round duct. I'm going to define the outlet as being, on this particular machine, a 6-inch. We're not going to have any particular adapter type. There's not going to be any pressure loss within the machine for this one. And this is going to be a wood shop, so we will say it's a 4,500 foot per minute velocity. Now, since I've got 2 of these 3 variables, I can have the system calculate what the volume will be there. And then I simply, now that I've defined it, click New Connection. And I now have the ability to place this connection anywhere on this piece of equipment. I'm going to put it there in the middle of the top. And again, as I said, if we're going to have multiple machines with the same connection, we can clone them and then place them where we want them. And you'll notice, just like on Duct, we have snap lines to help us line things up. And so we can now clone this, and we'll bring this over, and again, we'll line it up. Okay. Now you notice that it cloned the exact same label, so all I have to do is come in and change the labels. And we can do that very simply. All right. So now, as you can see, we've got the equipment placed, and I'm going to add one additional piece of equipment, and we are going to make this our collector. And just so that we know it's our collector, we're going to change its color to something, let's say, bright green. All right. So in our next session, we're going to add the duct based on the connections here and then have the system size this for us. Thanks for listening. We'll see you very soon.